Hello my friends and welcome. We have the information from our Ukrainian Marines about several of the bridgeheads created on the other part of the Dnieper River. They say that it should be enough to start the extension of this landing operation to the Russian-controlled territories. Okay, so this is the official publication from the UA Marines. They confirmed that they have the success in getting the ground and creating several of the bridgeheads. I think the biggest one now is in Krynki, and it is the most recent point of the Ukrainian landing operation. Also, Marines landed across the Antonsky Bridge, which was severely damaged, and now Ukraine is unable to restore it. Also, kind of the interesting bridgehead over here, probably Ukraine used this direction and the parallel small river to create it. So Oleshki town might be taken from two of the directions. It's awesome. The landing operation was conducted successfully over here, and this is the railroad bridge over here. And also here is one more vector for Ukrainian landing operation. Totally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Also before there was the landing operation in Kazachie Lagery, our guys caused Russian severe losses, took some of the prisoners, including officers, and retreated back. So I would say it's the serious manner, the intention to send more reinforcements to this shore. Let's go for the news source that I like the most. We are speaking about the Ground News, and they have the part where you may find all of the related articles dedicated to the war in Ukraine. Let's check out all of the related latest stories about Ukraine. So for example, this one, Zelensky gave the big interview today to the press, and he says that we had some problems with the shell supplies to Ukraine because of the war in Middle East. According to the last information, some of the shells that should have been delivered to Ukraine are now sent to Israel. Obviously, it's not good for us, but usually winter military campaigns are more or less standstill. But for sure, we need more ammunition for the springtime. Hopefully, the new military support from the United States will be approved. Why do I like this website? Because it gives me lots of the alternates to read different sources, different articles based on the biased distribution. We may see it over here, so left, right, or central media sources cover this topic, and you may find every article on the left. Also, you have the factuality report. 0% of the sources are low factuality. It means that it is based on the actual truthful information. What I also like is the map feature. You may find the origin of the news sources, and on every news article you may find whom this media belong to, the factuality standard, mixed, or here you may see high factuality, and the biased distribution of the actual media, left, right, or central. And by simple click on the article you may go to the news origin to read it fully. Also, they have the dedicated parts to Israeli-Palestinian conflict, to US economy, and many more. So basically, you may find every news over here. The Ground News is not just available as the website platform, they have also very convenient and useful application. It is compatible to all of the iOS or Android devices. It helps me to be updated on situation all day long. The Ground News source is independent one. They do not belong to any kind of the big media corporation, so they are able to provide this very important information for us just with our support. They have many of the subscription options, and I choose the highest one called Vantage. By the way, now they have the biggest discount of the year, especially for this one, where you can join and subscribe the Ground News for just $5 a month. It's 40% of discount from the original price. This offer is valid just till the end of this month. So if you want to get the access to this awesome news source and support the team of enthusiasts who do this fantastic job, please check out my personal link ground.news/Dennis in the video description just below. The Ground News is the constant sponsor of my channel. I'm very proud to have them over here, so you also support my job by supporting them. Okay, this is the Russian soldier somewhere near to Krynki, the place where Ukraine landed its forces, and our guys demolished their vehicles using the drones, and they're just filming around what is left from their vehicles. Total devastation with the help of the FPV drones. awesome. Mostly Ukraine has already established their control over this perimeter. But still, to go further, we need more armored vehicles in that place and also regular Ukrainian armed forces. You cannot perform the big full-scale attacks using just UA Marines. They are very capable, but they're restricted in their resources. Also, our Marines are unable to stay there forever. We are quite time limited because Russia still fires directly to Ukrainian positions. That is why we just cannot allow to lose our best forces. Alright, so what are the two existing variants for us? Well, the most profitable probably is to continue the attack, forming the larger group of the forces with a regular army with pontoon bridges, many tanks and other stuff, and try to attack the Russian army. First of all, Oleshki over here, and also two vectors of the attack, one from this side and the other one from that side, to block the Russian army over here, because here is the desert. But even this great success is just the temporary achievement, because Ukraine needs to form lots of the forces for the main strike to reach Crimea. Otherwise, Russia may continue to use artillery, aviation bombs, this time on a larger group of Ukrainian army. Here is mostly the flat terrain and nowhere to hide from the artillery, so you need to build the defense lines as Russia built them in Zaporizhia direction. And the second variant is to take all of those bridgeheads and go back to Ukrainian territory. So here we have go, no-go situation. It's a very decisive moment nowadays for the development of this operation, and I wonder why we opened the position of Ukrainian forces. Well, mainly Russians already know our positions because they have surveillance drones and other stuff. I would say it's mostly impossible to hide your positions in the 21st century wars. We know the location of the Russian units, they unfortunately know our locations. Meanwhile, Russia publishes some of the videos of how they use the aviation bombs to target the Ukrainian positions in Krinky. After that, they also used the Mavic drones to find our soldiers, unfortunately causing losses for Ukrainian side. So again, Ukraine needs to decide whether to continue with larger forces to eliminate this constant threat, or just to retreat the forces from those positions because they're under constant Russian fire. Again, with existing forces, Ukrainian army is unable to advance forward because we have the backup from our artillery and even mortars. If our guys advance at some turn point, the range of some of the artillery systems might not cover it. And Russia is unable to send their significant backup to the area because they are within the range of the Ukrainian artillery and mortars. Plus, the most important thing, the FPV drones. So Ukrainian army to advance further needs to take artillery, supplies, and to put the reliable supply lines across the Dnieper. It's a very complicated task. Hopefully Ukraine is able to deal with that, because this direction is actually very profitable for Ukraine compared to Zaporizhia direction. Here is almost no defense lines, as you can see, just some of the dashes. Russia put their checkpoints, but here it's very hard to move ahead. Nevertheless, Ukraine has more achievements on the front lines today. Let's look at them. Ukraine starts the attack between Avdiivka and Bakhmut in this direction, near to Shumy and Pivdena villages, and we have the timeline, so we may watch before, and this is today. Yes, it is the small achievement, but Ukraine gained control over the nearby hill, moving a little forward. I guess that this attack was mainly done not to break through the Russian defense or something like that, but to attract more Russian forces from Bakhmut direction and from Avdiivka to counteract to the new attack vector of Ukrainian army. And we'll see how it goes. If the Russian army wouldn't actively react on that, probably Ukraine might strike with more forces. And we also have the confirmation about this achievement of Ukraine from the different source. As you can see, Ukraine took quite a lot of the ground in this place. All of this part is the industrial area of Donbass with lots of the mines and factories. So there actually you may hide some of your forces, especially infantry, from the artillery attacks. But I don't see any big roads for the Ukrainian advancement. The secondary roads also could be used for tanks and armored vehicles. Very good in the wet season. So this is how the front line looks in that specific area. Ukraine took this part and moved towards this place, taking this hill under control, and we have the confirmation about it from the Russian drone. So this is the artificially created hill, then the mines were digged down to the ground. Just imagine of how much of the soil was taken from the ground, and here are our guys running over there under the Russian artillery fire. Luckily, at this particular video, the Russian artillery missed our guys and they are running in the trenches over there. Alright, about the biggest hotspot nowadays, Avdiivka. Russia still continue their attack attempts to get it under control. But here I was mistaken. Yesterday, Russia didn't take the ground, but they expanded the gray zone. We have the latest update from the Deep State military map resource. So it was yesterday and it is today. Quite a slow advancement, expanding just the gray area. And we have this Russian attack vector over here. Ukraine performs surveillance operation and also performs the counterattack on the Russian positions near to Severne. I'm very satisfied to see this vector in Avdiivka suburbs. Russia also moves a little in Kislivka over here, so it was yesterday and it is today. They tried the assault attempt over here 3 of the times. All of those were unsuccessful for them. They were just ambushed, so they tried the new direction, and here they're more successful compared to the previous one. However, it's just the light advancement. We already knew what happened in that area. A little bit on the south, Russia advanced, taking more ground and even some of the villages, but later on their attack was repelled and Ukraine got everything back. I shared this already in one of my videos. Then Russia gathered lots of their forces at the single place. It happened on the south, so Ukraine ambushed everything with the help of the HIMARS rocket artillery systems, and we have the confirmation about this case now from the Russian side. They confirmed that they have lost at least 5 of the vehicles and 76 of their soldiers completely gone. Many more were injured, so HIMARS is very effective. The new step in Ukrainian FPV drone technology, now our guys are testing the drones with thermal cameras, so they may fly during the night time. The risk to lose the drone here is enormous, but still, the drones are not that expensive compared to the other tools, like artillery for example. Here we have much better camera. The drone flies quite high and able to see everything. They say it's during the nighttime operation, so it's awesome. Ukraine also started to use the types of the drones to target the Russian unit positions further behind the front lines with a range up to 20 and sometimes up to 30 kilometers. Yes, Lancets may fly even longer range, but Ukraine doesn't have the Lancet technology and we are unable to produce those kind of the drones massively. It's our biggest disadvantage. It is quite sad because of the Lancet drones we lose artillery systems, mainly because of the Lancet. Russia is in lack of the reliable counter-artillery radar systems, so they are unable to hit our artillery with theirs. Well, it happens, but very rarely. So they use Lancet for their purpose, visually identifying our artillery systems and other stuff. But here Ukraine studies the topic and already using the drones like that on the front lines against Russians. The new Ukrainian drone Morok, it's the name of the drone, was presented by our biggest volunteers. So with the help of the volunteers, we're able to construct, build and use the drones. I wish our government would do more to support the drone programs because they sometimes support some different things not connected to this war. About the United States military support of Ukraine, will not obtain the military help in the next months, or maybe even longer. According to the Bloomberg article, they rely on their sources. But negotiations are ongoing right now of what exact help do we need and how many funds we should obtain from the United States. The Wall Street Journal article says that the European Union is unable to replace the military help which is coming from the United States of America, because that help is the most important for Ukraine, and we obtain a lot of the stuff from the United States. I think that the United States will finally continue to support Ukraine. The positive signal which I see that the United States of America is getting ready to supply the spare parts to Ukraine to maintain the F-16's fighter jets. As it was announced before, our pilots are now ongoing the training, the practical one, in Arizona. In his interview today, President Zelensky said that the Ukrainian army would be forced to retreat in case we won't receive enough military support from our allies. It's logical. Basically, we need the tool to fight. We still have the men, we have the soldiers, but we are in lack of the tools. Actually, I was more positive before, saying that this situation is just temporary, but now the new temporary budget was taken without any kind of the military support of Ukraine or Israel. That is why I'm still quite concerned, because Russia is attacking just right now. Pentagon is saying that they need the military budget for Ukraine just right now, but Senate is just sleeping in its political crisis. If we let Russia to win this war, the circumstances for democracy around the world would be dramatic, especially for the United States. Today, President Biden already signed this new bill, the temporary one, without military help for Ukraine or Israel, but I'm sure that they have the strategy to push forward the military supplies to Ukraine and Israel. That is what Vladimir Zelensky actually said, that without the support we will move backward. It means that we'll be forced to retreat our forces. It is bad. In Russia, the big general, the commander of the Russian Air Force of the 6th Russian Army, plus the air defense, was found dead together with his wife. The reason for their death is the poisoning. His name was Vladimir Sviridov. Well, maybe they ate the wrong mushrooms, or maybe it was done for purpose. Alright, we have the new footage of the Ukrainian HIMARS rocket artillery system operation. It happened not far away from the Donetsk city. Here you may see some of the Russian armored vehicles. Their infantry I tried to hide, and this is the shooting range. There are some aims over there, so everything was fine for Russian training until the HIMARS attack. Those kind of the videos are fully available on my Telegram channel. Alright, the volunteers from the Czech Republic are collecting the funds for this Black Hawk helicopter for Ukrainian army. It is the awesome project. I wonder if they are already collected the funds for Ukraine, but for sure it will be delivered to our country, and we'll have the second one in our army. We have the Black Hawk, but it is used just for the special forces. My friends, don't forget to press the like to this video, and also please check out my personal link in the video description just below, where you may subscribe for the ground news with the huge Black Friday discount. The ground news source is trustworthy. My friends, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.